Ring ring, it's time for another episode of Crossplay Conversations, the show where we dive deep into the world of video games while keeping it light. I'm your host, Luke Lewis, and this week I'm joined by the Wii U Wonder Kid, Jacob McCourt.
Hi, I'm ready for a party. How about you?
Let's get this party started, y'all. For podcast listeners, this week we're talking about the best party and local multiplayer games, so we're just diving into games that bring us all together, games that are fun, and we'll talk about some different genres, some different approaches, and run through a bunch of our favorite games within this space. But Jacob, let's kick things off with our icebreaker question. I'm curious, what do you think? What makes for a good party game in terms of like gameplay, in terms of genre? And then has your taste in these games evolved as you've gotten older? How you feeling?
So, I'm an old guy, right? So, I was a guy who played Halo 3 or Halo 2 even on original Xboxes, laying together in my parents' basement, drinking Mountain Dew. So I would say when I started, it was very competition focused. It's
Sure.
How can we get a really great game that has awesome multiplayer in the same room with, 8 to 16 friends? That was the vibe when I was growing up. But as I've evolved as a human, the thing that I've appreciated is a game that has enough gameplay that is deep enough, but allows for, if you're having friends over and you just want to have a conversation, or like I really think of the Jackbox model now of gameplay that's just deep enough, that is just easy enough that you don't have to explain a whole bunch, that also allows you to have conversations and good gameplay. That's sort of the vibe and what I'm looking for now, unless I'm yelling about Overcooked with my partner, because that's a whole different vibe. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's the amount of gameplay that you bring up is interesting too, because I think there's like a threshold for the perfect party game of like,
Yep.
Jackbox is that like great equalizer of anybody can play it. You can use your phone. You don't need a controller. And so you can get like a lot of people involved all at the same time, which I think is really nice. When I think of party game, I definitely think of like the Wii era in terms of like, even your grandma can play Wii Sports Bowling and that sort of thing, and how like the motion controls made it so accessible, and it like seemed dorky at the time, but like looking back, it really was this like very approachable, fun, engaging thing that every age group in my life at the time was obsessed with. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think a good party game for me is, I think, something that is fun to play, and I would also say fun to watch. So the person on the couch without a controller is still having a good time and able to engage with it in some way, even if it's just like commentary or vibes. So yeah,
I think I totally agree with you. And also there's like a complexity threshold that I think about a lot, where something like a Nidhogg, if you think about it, almost hits that threshold of there's some, it's easy to pick up and play, but there's some depth. But someone who's naturally good at video games can easily wipe the floor with someone who like maybe is not good on the sticks. So, and also you want to think about time, and we're going to get into it, but a game of Mario Party, sometimes you don't have 2 hours to play a game of Mario Party for whatever, 20, 30 turns. Mario Party's a whole thing, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Totally. On that note, what are some special party games? We've already touched on Jackbox. We brought up a couple of others, but what specific games come to mind when you think party game, when you think local multiplayer game? Because I think we'll get into some distinctions and our opinions across this, but I think we started making a list of what I considered party games and realized a lot of them are more local multiplayer and that they're not inherently associated with the party game genre, so we can kind of get into those distinctions. But what games resonate with you?
Yeah, I think to add on to the distinction part really fast, it's the party game is literally like, in my mind, a board game. Mario Party sort of fits the mold of this is a party game. If it has mini games and it has a board, it's probably a party game. Is it Fusion Frenzy, Bill Gates' favorite video game? Yes. Whereas a local multiplayer game is like anything that you can pick up and play with friends.
Sure.
I said my taste has changed over time. It's funny to think back on some of the games that I loved and played with friends locally a lot. I wouldn't necessarily pick up those games today. I think of the Mario sports games as sort of a prime example of GameCube era, even into the Wii era, of grabbing a couple friends and playing a bunch of games of Super Mario Strikers or Super Mario Baseball, because they were the perfect length. Like, you could play a game of Strikers in like 10 minutes. You could play a game of baseball in like 30-ish minutes, depending on the innings. But I have a hard time picking those games up today for multiplayer. I played the tennis game on Switch and the Strikers game on Switch, and just they didn't hit the same highs that they used to. So beyond talking about Halo and some of the games we mentioned before, those Mario sports games used to be very special to me. I know we're going to talk about a bunch more, but do you have a franchise or a type of game that, Luke, you're like very fond of, that you have memories about, that you want to dream about?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because I would consider it a party game, but I think it also falls into that local multiplayer category. But Rock Band and Guitar Hero,
Yeah, hell
because
yeah.
I feel like inherently, by definition, it's as if you're at a live band performance or a karaoke night. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like that party vibe, and so.
Mhm.
I think from Guitar Hero, I think Guitar Hero 2 on PS2 was the first one
Hell
that I
yeah.
like played and had a lot, and then Guitar Hero 3 and a Rock Band World Tour, all that stuff. Like, I played it all, and that was another great equalizer of like friends really enjoyed it, parents, extended family events. It was always let's play Rock Band, let's hang out together, and I discovered a lot of music through it. I think my parents got to have like nostalgic trips of like, oh, these are songs I grew up with, and so it was kind of like a fun bonding experience. So I think that's another realm to all of those things of like, what's something that everyone can like relate to in some way with a party game, or at least engage with in some way. So yeah, I would love to see. I really want a new Rock Band or Guitar Hero, and I know Harmonix is doing their thing with Epic Games and Fortnite Festival right now, but
Not the same.
it isn't the same. And yeah, I love a good Rock Band sesh.
I am very envious because there was an era of PAXs that I didn't go to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like the maybe 14, 15, 16 era where they would, I think Harmonix or maybe like a Giant Bomb or somebody used to rent a venue in Boston and just do like a karaoke night, but with Guitar Hero or with
That's
Rock
so
Band.
fun.
I forget which
Yeah.
one. And like, that is something I've always wanted to do. And just, I don't think we're ever going to do, because those games are just hard to come by now.
That's so much the vibe, to the point where Claire and I are planning our wedding right now. We have a date,
Hell
we have
yeah.
a venue locked in, and I'm like,
Congrats, by the
how
way.
to appreciate it. I'm like, how do we have a rehearsal dinner that ends with Rock Band karaoke? Like, I'm like strategizing how to do this, but like, I don't have the instruments anymore. We don't necessarily have access to a space for that many people to come together, but like, I want to do it. It'd be cool.
I think that would be sick. And there wouldn't be like rehearsal dinner. It wouldn't be that many people, right? Like maybe 20-ish.
Yeah, we'll get into that offline. But
Okay.
but anyway, yeah, I freaking love Rock Band, and I just think it's a blast, and it is so much fun to play. And that's another one that like you can sing along if you're not playing the instrument, and I think it just works perfectly in that setting.
Agreed.
Hell yeah. What's another one for you?
Man, we talked about the Mario sports games. We've not talked about Smash yet.
Smash.
Yeah. Do you have a complicated relationship with that? Said, I have a complicated relationship with Smash.
I don't think I have a complicated relationship. I'm younger than you, but yep. I will say that. So when I was a freshman in college was when the Wii U Smash came out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so that was a perfect time. Befriended a lot of people on my dorm floor. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my friend Colin, he was in a double room with one other person, but it was the size of a room for 3 people. So they put a couch and a massive TV.
Nice. And
we played Smash for hours, and it was such a blast. And that was, obviously not ultimate, but had so many more characters, and we had all the GameCube controllers with the adapters for the Wii U, and it was like such an event. So yeah, and then I think when I was a senior in college was when Ultimate came out. So I associate college with like the Wii U Switch era of Smash, and a lot of good times. How about for you? You said it's complicated. I'm curious where it gets complicated. Like,
I
the
mean,
battle to win, or
no, hey, I hated one of the games in the series and it really affected. So
Okay,
I'm gonna have the most basic opinion of Smash that a lot
that's
of people
fine.
have, where Melee is the game.
Oh, totally.
That game is
Yeah.
the shit. And then Brawl came out, and Brawl just, the characters are more heavy. They added that weird trip mechanic, and so it just wasn't as fun. So I think friends and I stayed on Melee for the longest time, especially because you could just plunk in the Wii your GameCube discs and use your GameCube controller. So we just stayed with Melee
Sure.
until Wii U and 3DS came out, which was good. So I think we sort of went to that one, but always were longing for Melee.
Sure.
And Ultimate is the first time where I was like, oh, Ultimate's a sick game. I think it's just as good as me, almost as good as Melee, but the amount of characters you can get in customization, and it's easy on Switch to, grab a modern console, plug it into TVs, whatever. I love Smash a lot, to the point where every Christmas I go over to I call her my grandmother's house, but she's technically like an aunt twice removed or some shit. I don't know, family trees. And I always go in the basement, and there's always a group of like 6 or 7 of the grandkids and cousins playing Smash. And it's like the one time a year where I always play Smash, and I always fucking love it, to the point where now I'm thinking like, Sakurai, what are you doing? Are you working on a new Smash for Switch 2? Because I think we're due. I know you're probably very tired, but I think it's time for a new Smash. I don't even see what you do with Smash now either.
That's interesting that you talk about like the future of the series, because I feel the same way about Mario Kart, in that like, I don't know if I need a new one in a sense. Like the Switch versions really nailed it for me, and the number of controllers you can use and the number of players you can get involved, and like you said, the amount of content for both of those games is just so massive that it is kind of like the definitive version of those games for me. Even I think nostalgia removed, it's still like the definitive. But yeah, Smash is great. Who's your main? Who we going with in a fight?
Man, I have a couple of mains, and it's sort of changed over time, but I love DDD.
Okay.
I really like Roy.
Okay.
A lot of the Fire Emblem characters I'm weirdly okay with. So Ike I like. I will sometimes play as Corrin. I used to be a young Link guy, but I've moved more towards those characters. And I'm missing one too, but who are your mains?
I'm usually a Kirby guy, which I know is a little divisive in the sense that it's like you have the float ability, you can kind of save yourself in the last minute, but always been a big Kirby guy. Otherwise, I feel like that's always like the default for me. I fuck around with Link if I want a sword person. Samus, I'm a big Samus fan. I kind of stick to the classics, I feel like, though in the new era I have really enjoyed like playing as Banjo-Kazooie, or
I love Banjo-Kazooie.
King K. Rool, I think is really fun.
Oh, that's my other main. I love King K. Rool.
Or even Ridley, like some of those like more iconic Nintendo characters that weren't playable for so long. It's like, oh, that's really cool to see them here. And then I do appreciate, I don't think I've downloaded a lot of the like more recent character editions, but like I do think like seeing Joker from Persona is really cool, or seeing Sora from Kingdom Hearts, like those fan references and things are dope. So
whenever I think of Sora in Smash, I only think of friend of the show Cam Hawkins and his reaction to that character being in the game
when he's like crying, God is real, like it's beautiful.
I think we should maybe share out that clip just for folks on Twitter when we
I will. I think it's worth it. It'll make your day.
Shout out Cam Hawkins.
Hell yeah. Another thing with Smash that I'm thinking about too, that kind of I feel like exemplifies the party game genre, is the like characters from all this shit coming together to have a party, for lack of a, you know what I mean? It's just like, and I don't mean shit in a bad way. I just mean like all this like smorgasbord of things. But I feel like that's kind of a party game of like, I don't love the series, but I think of like Mario Sonic at the Olympics, or these games where it's like collab, throw them together, or like the Rabbids games, or that sort of thing, where it's just like, let's get wacky, let's play some party games with all these characters.
I do want to mention one thing really quickly, that Mario and Sonic, the last summer games on Switch had a 8-bit like mode where some of the games where you could play literally like 8-bit Sonic or 8-bit Mario in like diving, and they were very simplistic, but they were surprisingly good.
That
So I would
sounds
say if
fun.
you ever
Okay.
it's low key good. So if you ever see that game for like $20, especially with the Summer Olympics coming up, I think it's a worthwhile buy for like $20.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
There's $20 of fun in there. While we're talking about Smash, I also want to talk about like other platform fighters.
Yeah.
Stuff that gets close. I'm a big fan of Framemakers. Having met the team and played the game,
It's dope.
I own it. It's one that like I want to have some friends over and play Framemakers a little bit more. And then there's also like Rivals of Ether. There's Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which I have, which is okay. And there's also the WB one that I forget the name of.
Oh, Multiverses,
yeah.
It's
those
solid.
They're fine.
Yeah.
In my mind, why wouldn't you just play Smash then? You know what I mean?
Sure. Brawlhalla is another one that has like really popped off for a lot of folks, and I never dug into it, but it came out on the Ouya and then came to a bunch of other stuff. But Towerfall is a big one.
Oh, dude,
for folks.
Towerfall on Ouya,
yeah.
yes. And it's a little different for those who've not played Towerfall or Towerfall Ascension. It is kind of like a platform fighter, but it's more like a deathmatch.
It's more like Killer Queen-esque almost, where it's like more objective based than like, yes, you kill other people, but you're like trying to accomplish like a unified goal. Killer Queen's another one to throw out too. Of obviously you have the like 8-person arcade cabinet, but then they had Killer Queen Black that came to consoles. That's really dope as well.
I think
if you
I
want
actually just recently bought it.
Oh, sick.
Not like I have many friends that would play Killer Queen Black here. I have it somewhere, but I just bought it.
I think I own it too, but that's the tricky thing is like I never have that many folks over, and it's not really a game you want to play with like 3 people or 4 people. You kind of need a whole crew.
Yeah, I will always remember fondly. Was it last year or 2 years ago when we went to the pizza after we went and grabbed pizza at PAX? A bunch of us went to the arcade bar.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
Queen Black.
I want to say it was 2 years ago, but yeah, that was really fun. And that particular bar, I believe it's called Jupiter in Seattle. Real dope arcade and pinball selection. But yeah, they have a full 8-person Killer Queen setup, and especially during PAX weekend, it's so fun because there's always people who want to play, so it's like not hard at all to get a group of 8 people together.
Yeah, and just for folks listening, stay tuned because we may have a PAX preparation episode coming soon. So if you want more info about what to do at PAX, we're working on it.
Have we publicly said we're going to PAX West?
No.
I don't know if we have on this show, but all of us will be going to PAX West. So if you're at PAX West, hit us up, say hello.
And just stay tuned to the end of the show because we might have a fun announcement to share too.
Hell yeah. All right.
Back to party games.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about, we have a bunch of side-scrolling beat-em-ups on this list, and I think that's another fun one that falls into that local multiplayer bucket rather than a party game, but I do feel like I've had a lot of like party game-esque moments around those games, but games like Castle Crashers or more recently TMNT Shredder's Revenge, like simple pick up and play. There's some added depth there if you continue to play longer. Different characters you can play with up to 4 folks. I think with Shredder's Revenge you can play with up to 6 if I remember correctly.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, so big fan of all of those. I also want to give a shout out to Pixel Junk Scrappers, which was a game I played at PAX West last year. That ended up being really fun. But another beat 'em up style game, you have robots, and then there's the side objective of you're collecting trash. And so that's kind of a fun one of you don't have to be good at the fighting, you can just collect the trash and work together and do the thing. But the Pixel Dunk series are really great, and so that game has a lot of fun style and character.
Yeah, shout out to the team at Q Games.
Yeah.
Did you also get code for that one?
I did for that one.
Yeah, so we both got code for that one. I also really love my time with it. Surprising how few reviews there were on Steam.
It's really solid.
Pixel Junk game.
Yeah, like it's really fun, and I think since it wasn't a Pixel Junk Eden or a Pixel Junk Monsters, it wasn't as talked about, but definitely worth a play if you're looking for something to play co-op with a few folks and just have a good time.
Especially now during Steam Summer Sale, if you're still
you
listen to this and the Summer Sale is still going on, I'm assuming that game is relatively inexpensive for you to grab.
I imagine.
Yeah, it's 30% off right now. So.
Oh yeah, highly recommend. Stamp of approval from Crossplay.
Love.
And then I'll also shout out Alien Hominid Invasion. Not a beat 'em up, but side-scrolling shooter is also a really fun one from Behemoth. Shout out to Behemoth. They also provided me code for that one. But yeah, that's another one that I believe that one's 2-player co-op, run and gun, zany, really fun, brings that Behemoth energy, that sense of humor. Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, to go back to Castle Crashers, I think that is like almost one of the greatest.
It's like the pinnacle of the couch
pinnacle.
game. Yeah.
Somewhere I have a physical figurine of one of the, I think the Orange Fighter.
Oh,
just
nice.
Because when I played it, like that's an XBLA mainstay. The remaster is really great on modern consoles, and it's easy to pick up and play, but there's a level of mastery that you can achieve by continuing to play and getting more abilities and whatnot. The art's great. It's just one that I can't recommend enough. If you've not played Castle Crashers, it is a requirement as a game fan.
And and it's playable on like everything at this point. Yeah. You can get it on Switch, you can get it on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, all that jazz. But
I think it's physical on Switch too.
Hell yeah, we love that. We love
physical games.
Nice.
To our own detriment.
I don't have a problem. You have a problem. No, I'm kidding.
Can I talk about a game that's a little outside the box?
Yeah, please do.
So Sports Friends. This is from how do you say this studio? Die Gut Fabrik. I believe they've made a couple of games. I think they might have actually just shut down, but they made Mutazione and Salt Sea Chronicles as well. But before that, they made Sports Friends.
Okay.
Which was a Kickstarter game.
Why do I recognize this? Okay.
And this is one that they were playing a lot at cons, where you would connect, or at least for Johann Sebastian Joust, which was part of the package, you would connect Move controllers, and there was no screen. Like you didn't need a TV to play it. You essentially need a TV to like set up the game, but the game itself is played in an area where you have multiple Move controllers, and it's a game that the music plays really loudly. And as the music speeds up and slows down, imagine that you're holding an egg in your hand. And as the music speeds up, you can move faster without breaking the egg. But if the music slows down, you have to slow down. So it then very much becomes a moment of like, can I physically push or check the other players to make them move their Move controller or their egg really fast to break it? And it's just so satisfying with the Move controller. It's a game that is incredibly hard to replicate. I can't think of another game like this one.
Yeah, this is a great pull. And I love thinking back to this one. I love how the game uses like physical space. Like, yes, it takes you away from just staring at the TV, but gives you like this interactive experience within your home that I think is really rad. Yeah,
and then on that one too, there's 3 other titles. There's Super Pole Riders, Bari Bari Ball, and Hokra. I really also like Super Pole Riders because that is it's a Bennett Foddy game. That's like one of his first titles that started as a web game, and it's got that same weird Bennett Foddy energy to it, where you imagine you've got a very long pole and you're literally just trying to like pole vault yourself into a goal on your opponent's side. So it leads to some very funny, like if you've played a Bennett Foddy game, you know exactly what this thing like looks and sounds like.
Hell yeah.
Sports Friends.
Keeping on the sports theme.
Yep.
Maybe let's jump to, I feel like we got to talk about Wii Sports.
Hell yeah.
Then going into Switch Sports with the modern era. But like, I love Wii Sports. The fact that I really think it could have been the only Wii game you owned. And it was for a lot of folks. And I think that speaks to the quality, that speaks to the staying power, the vibes. Like the Wii, in a sense, was a Wii Sports machine. And you can't understate the importance of that one bit.
They added more games to Switch Sports like last week.
Yeah. Basketball was just added, and then previously within the last year or so they added golf, which wasn't in the base game. I was just talking to my folks because we're going to visit them in a couple weeks, and I was like, y'all, golf is back, because that was the biggest thing for our family for whatever reason with Wii Sports. Everybody really enjoyed golf, so we're planning, we're gonna have a little tourney.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. And I think, to Switch Sports' credit, It's solid. It
Yeah.
controls well. I think the motion controls of the Switch have only gotten better. You don't
Mhm.
have to worry about the sensor bar
Yep.
anymore, so little quality of life things like that. So yeah, I had a really fun time going back to that one. And
Yeah,
it's a solid party game just to have on the shelf and ready to whip out whenever you need it.
yeah, I think this is probably a good point to mention. Switch Sports uses Joy-Con. There's also 2 Super Mario games or Super Mario Party games on the Switch. I have feelings about one of them, and the other one is very good. Have you played any Mario Party games on Switch?
Yes, both of them. I'm a very big Mario Party
So I
fan.
believe it's
Sorry.
Mario Party Superstars.
Yes.
That is the very good one.
Mm-hmm. That's the one
classic.
That's the collection of like every Mario Party. They're just pulling the highlight best mini games. And that one also has a ton of customization in terms of like how long the game is, how many turns, what board you're using. Are you allowing, you can like, I think customize what types of blocks are happening. So if you don't want specific like kind of shitty last minute pulls the wool out from under your eyes type moves, you can kind of tailor it a little bit more to your experience. So yeah, I think that's like the definitive Mario Party experience, and just goes once again to the Switch having this like staples for Smash, for Mario Kart, for Mario Party, like arguably the best versions of all of these established games.
And then there's Super Mario Party, which I think is a bad Mario Party game.
Yeah, I'm trying to even
That's
have
the
it,
one that you
and
have
I know
to
I
use
played
a
it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't have.
And I
a
remember,
bunch of
if I
Joy-Cons
recall, because I think I want to say Claire and I played that on an Extra Life stream, and I remember just the games going on for so long, and between mini games, with Superstars, I feel like it can be a pretty quick loop between mini games if you want it to be, but with Super Mario Party, God, the naming conventions on these is throwing me off with that one. Yeah, I recall it just not hitting the same way.
And there's a lot of motion like shit in that one, and there's no option to play with controllers. I don't know about you, but I've got like a bunch of cheap Switch controllers kicking around. So if I want to have, when friends come over, it's easy to plug in 4 and just not worry about it. But I have one set of Joy-Cons. So unless I have people bring their Joy-Cons, then I'm not playing Super Mario Party. And then the new one was just announced as Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah,
which I was like, is that the Joy-Con bad one, or is that the Super Mario Superstars? And unfortunately it's a sequel to Super Mario Party, which is the bad Joy-Con.
I missed that. Oh shit. Oh, that's really frustrating.
Yeah, look, maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll provide more flexibility.
They must update that, because like the other one was so successful, I feel like, because of that. Ugh.
Yeah.
Although people still buy it. It has Mario in the name, so Nintendo's like, we're just gonna
cha-ching, baby,
drive our truck along here.
Drive our money truck to collect more money.
While we're on the Nintendo topic, you threw WarioWare on this list.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I have a complicated relationship with WarioWare, but
use more words. You need to go first.
So I didn't grow up with WarioWare. I didn't dabble in WarioWare until the first Switch one, which I believe was Get It Together.
Yeah.
And I bounced so hard off of that game. I found it kind of... And I feel like I like weird. I like short, bite-sized. I like Wario like as a funny Nintendo character. Like, I feel like I'm primed to enjoy this series, but at least with that entry, I was just like, I don't like this game. It felt frustrating.
You played
it felt
one of the
tedious.
worst WarioWare games.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, okay.
So my history is long-standing with the series. The GBA game I was in love with. And then the GameCube game, I used to have my friend Josh and my brother. We used to just do like sleepovers when we were like 14 or 15 years old, because I'm, like I said, a couple years older than you. And we would always play 3 games. It would be Super Mario Strikers, it'd be Smash, and it'd be WarioWare Mega Party games for the GameCube, because they took the Game Boy Advance game and then just put it on GameCube, but then added a bunch of multiplayer games on top of it, where you would play the mini games, but it would also be a larger game set on top of it, and it was just like super fun. You would do those very short, 6 to 12 second micro games, but then there was a meta game on top of it. So that was fantastic, and a lot of them have been really good. Twisted on Game Boy with the accelerometer, Kart was very good. Touched was very good. There's DIY for DS that you could build your own micro games. And then the Switch one that you played actually might be the worst WarioWare game that has come out.
Interesting.
Because
I've heard the newest Switch one's pretty good from at least series fan. I'm still convinced I would enjoy the series. I feel like I didn't get a good first impression.
Yeah, for those who've not played that Get It Together game, instead of directly playing, because the whole thing with WarioWare is you normally press one button or the D-pad to do one action. But the thing that you would actually do is you would control a character who would zip around the screen, and that character would be transported into each microgame, and you would then control that character in the context of the microgame, which then sometimes there'd be two players and you're both trying to beat a microgame at the same time. And I don't think it was as fun as a normal WarioWare game. So I'm excited. I haven't played the Move It. Is that the brand new one that just came out?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that one's a direct sequel to Smooth Moves on the Wii, which is peak WarioWare.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I haven't played it, but I heard it's very good.
Okay, right on. Might check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not on the list, but you and I were also talking in our DMs about Super Monkey Ball, the new one that just came out.
Hell yeah.
It looks sick.
That probably falls into the local multiplayer camp, but yeah, that new one looks really fun. And once again, chill vibes, good music, fun art style, zany action. That's all I need.
Did you ever play Monkey Target in multiplayer on that one?
I think so.
Yeah. So for those Super Monkey Ball who are listening, there's a mini game within it called Monkey Target where you would throw your monkey ball down a ramp, and then when you got to the apex of the ramp, your ball would open and become wings, and then you would fly into a target. So you would have to get the most points possible, land yourself, and sometimes it would almost be like a golf fairway where the movement when you hit the ground is fast. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes you stick. There's items. It's sick. I don't know if it's actually in. I'm assuming it's in the new one. It almost has to be. I'm gonna fact check myself.
Okay, double check that.
Move on to the next one.
While you're doing that, before we get too long into this, Joseph Hooper was not able to make this episode, but he did want to make sure we mentioned Shrek Super Party. That was a big one for him. I don't think I played this game, but I am a big Shrek stan and loved a lot of Shrek video games back in the day. So did you play this? What was the fun thing? Okay.
I've not played Super Shrek Party. I've played a lot of the knockoff, or I don't want to call them knockoffs, but I was a big Fusion Frenzy and Fusion Frenzy 2 fan.
Sure.
Which sort of fits in the Mario Party knockoff.
That's the
and
realm.
Sonic Shuffle too. I played a little bit on Dreamcast, but I've not touched Shrek Super Party.
Okay. I played Shrek 2, the movie-based video game. That's a fun one. That's another one you can play in local multiplayer. You're beating up characters, you're running around solving puzzles. Surprisingly good game. MinMax did a full playthrough of it a couple years back with Janet Garcia, Trek to Shrek. Highly recommend. Good content.
To Shrek.
Yeah, that was their crowd, because they crowdfunded to have her travel to Minnesota to then play Shrek 2 in its entirety. So good content, very good content.
Monkey Target is not in Banana Rumble, but you can play it in the compilation that was released before that, the last Super Monkey Ball game.
Okay, all right. I'll take it.
Banana Mania instead of Banana Rumble.
This is the Super Mario Party Superstar name. We need to branch out a little bit, everybody, when naming these games. I think just a skosh.
I agree.
Cool. On that note, I'll do a couple quick fires here for some other ones, but I think we haven't talked about the run around as idiots and jump on stuff subgenre of the local multiplayer game, but games like Fall Guys, games like Humans Fall Flat. It's not a multiplayer game, but Only Up is another one where I feel like that's kind of a communal experience of you're watching somebody play it.
I've only watched, never played that one.
I haven't played it either, but it's very fun to watch, and I get very invested very quickly. And similar with Fall Guys, I remember when it first came out, we had family in town, and we were just like taking turns. Every time someone got knocked out, passed the controller, then we were watching, and it was like we were watching this like live game show, and it was so fun. So I think that those games can be a lot of fun. And Humans Fall Flat is local multiplayer, I believe, and Claire and I have messed with that one, and it's a good time. Zany, dumb fun.
Can I bring us to weird peripheral local multiplayer land? So I'll start with the quiz controller segment of the show.
Such a Jacob ass subcategory. Let's
go. Brother, let me tell you about Buzz Quiz TV and Seen It. Did you play any of these games? Did you have the controllers for these games?
I didn't have Buzz because that was a PS2 only joint, right?
Yeah, I think there might have been a PS3 version too.
Okay, yeah. I definitely played Seen It, and I definitely played like I had kind of, I think, knockoffs of this type of thing. But yeah, anyway, carry on.
So yeah, Buzz Quiz is, I think that character is in the Platform Fighters, Sony All-Star Brawl, or whatever the heck, PlayStation All-Star Brawl. But it's basically just a quiz game that has a controller with a big red button on the top and then 4 answer buttons. And you just answer quiz questions, and there's some other malarkey that happens. Seen It's the same, where essentially there's a big button on the top, and then that was an Xbox only joint where you would then have the A, B, X, and Y buttons sort of down the controller itself. If you remember like the DVD games on Seen It, this was basically the same version for Xbox. And those games, I still have them. I still own them. They're at my parents' house. I should bust those out someday because I bet you they're still fun.
I bet they're so fun too. I'm surprised you haven't, because my next question was going to be, how much time have you spent trying to figure out how to work in those controllers to your video game trivia show?
Oh, 0 time, but now I'm going to have to.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no.
But also,
now
you're welcome. It's a simultaneous.
I wonder if there's a way when I do it at a bar to like just suddenly bust into Buzz Quiz. Anyway, this is a thought for a different time.
Okay, different convo.
And then beyond that, I also want to mention Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
I do remember that one. Solid party game. It's another one of like more on the puzzle side of things. Similar vibes to like an Escape Academy of like you're trying to figure out the puzzle together, and obviously title explains itself, but it is quite fun. I did enjoy that one.
Yeah, shout out to Escape Academy. My partner and I played through that one, including the DLC, and it was great, and I can't wait for the
sick.
next
We haven't
one.
done the DLC yet. Nice.
DLC is quite good. But Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. Like, you print out the physical book, which gives you instructions on how to defuse a bomb. It's also available in VR, which I haven't tried, but I just assume that's going to be badass in VR.
Imagine, they must be out there, but imagine doing like a local multiplayer game in VR in the same room as like the person you're playing co-op with. Mm-hmm. Would that work well? Would you end up hitting each other in VR? You have to like space each other out in the room, I guess. But yeah, what a time.
You played Baccarat, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, be a good one to fit the vibe.
Yeah, that's a fantastic local multiplayer one. That one's really cool too. Just like a quick explanation, it's like a platform adventure game, and you and your partner see different things on each of your screens, so you have to play it. Claire played it on our laptop, I played it on my desktop, and we were sitting in the same room, but we couldn't see each other's screens, and you have to describe what you're seeing in front of you, and there's platforming sequences where there's timing-based things where you have to be like, okay, Claire, jump, I'm going to move this lever, you have to go here, because you can't see anything that I see, and like work through these puzzle levels together, and it has a very poignant story about two young kids coming of age, so highly recommend.
Did I ever recommend The Pass Within to you?
I believe we talked about this one, yeah.
Similar vibe. It's not I believe it's a first person game, but you can play it on phones, I think even. But it's each person buys their own copy, and the games don't communicate to each other. Like it's not online multiplayer. It's just each person picks a character, and then the games don't work alone. So they're not connected, but the game is always the same, and so you have to communicate information from, scenario B to be able to solve stuff in scenario A.
I dig it.
Kind of breaks the mold a little bit for local multiplayer, but I thought I'd mention it.
No, I appreciate those like varied experiences. Also, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out Rocket League,
Hell yeah.
Minecraft, Gang Beasts. Those are like staples in my household. I feel like those are like known with folks. Like I'm not like turning anybody onto those games for the first time, but they are very good. They are very fun, and those are others that you can get a lot of people playing all at the same time.
PlayLink Games. Do you remember the short-lived PlayLink thing?
I do remember these games. Yeah.
It was an initiative on PlayStation 4 where there was maybe like, it was mostly coming out of Europe, but it was like 4 or 5 games that utilized it. Basically did the Jackbox thing, but on PlayStation 4 and like Sony games. And so I talk about Hidden Agenda all the time because Hidden Agenda is a supermassive game that has a card system on your phone. So essentially imagine like an Until Dawn, but instead of directly controlling the character, you are deciding what is happening by making decisions on your phone as a group. And one player has, you know, a hidden agenda. Basically, you have a secret objective that you're trying to accomplish, which causes conflict between all players. And Jez Harris, who I didn't realize this till just now, who now runs Chorus Worldwide, was a producer on this game. So next time I see him, I'm going to have to be like, yo, I'm Hidden Agenda's #1 fan. Please applaud.
I think Hidden Agenda was definitely by far the best game of that PlayLink branding. But yeah, this game was really fun.
There was a Buzz game in there, but I think Hidden Agenda is like dope.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. On that note of Jackbox style games, I feel like we should run through some of our favorite Jackbox mini games across all these entries, because everybody knows Jackbox, everybody's played a Jackbox, but what are like the standout ones that you find yourself going back to? Because I tend to, if we know we're like going home for Thanksgiving or whatnot, like I will buy, I think I own like most Jackboxes at this point, just because it's like, I want to see what they added. I want to play the new stuff. And my family is like now like conditioned of like, oh, we understand Jackbox. Jackbox is fun. We know what we're getting into, because there's like part of the party game element that we haven't gotten into is there's like, especially with like older folks or folks that don't play games regularly, there is this like convincing you have to do, like the pitch of like, no, you'll have a good time.
This is barely a video game. It's more of a board game.
It's like when people start explaining rules at board game night, and if it goes past like 2 minutes, you fall asleep. You're losing people. So it's the same with video game pitching. But yeah, Jackbox though, what are your go-tos?
Let's popcorn back and forth, but I have to start with Trivia Murder Party. Because I think that game is incredibly well written. There's a fun element of surprise. It's almost like they take the Mario Party thing of sometimes you get fucked over and put it in the game and make it very funny with the writing and the voice work. And that game is just hard to replicate. Like they put out 1 and 2 in one of the packages, and it was great. So I assume at some point we are going to get a 3 if they decide to do 11 or 12.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. I'll throw out Quiplash because it's the classic one, but I love that one because so for folks that aren't familiar, that's a lot of like wordplay, and you're answering questions in entertaining ways, and then people get to vote on what they think the best response is. But I think that one's really fun because you can kind of tailor it to your audience. Like I remember we played it with like my parents, and we kept it more kind of PG, but then when we played with friends, it got a little raunchier and sillier. And so I just appreciate that the game kind of allows that, of like, you can kind of set the tone and the vibe of what you want it to be. If you want it to be zany and stupid, it can be zany and stupid. Or if you want it to be more like inside jokes with that group of people you're with, you can do that. And so I think that's a really fun aspect too.
Beyond that one, why don't I mention... Oh man, there's so many of them. You mentioned Quiplash. Fibbage is also quite good. Fibbage is also like another classic. I think Job is quite fun, where you make motivational posters. I think is sort of the vibe on that one.
What's the one that I think we might have done this on an extra live stream of yours at one point, but it's the one where you are tasked with giving like a PowerPoint presentation, and you're given the topic at random, and then you have to like make a speech to everyone based on this random topic, and then it'll like display random images on the PowerPoint screen, and then you have to like commentate over it, and it's like it's zany and stupid, but I remember that being a fun
Yeah,
time.
is that one role models?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not great with names of Quickfire Games, but I can remember like what we were doing.
It's not role models, but I'll figure. I know exactly the game that you're talking about. It's not Joke Boat, because Joke Boat is like the stand up one on a cruise ship that you have to like sort of Mad Lib style make really good funny jokes. It's not Talking Points. Maybe it is Talking Points.
I think it is Talking Points.
You have to give a speech on the spot.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah, that one's really fun. I also like the one where it's like it's almost like charades, and you have to explain what the word or movie or whatever your topic you're given.
Yep.
And then it gives like 3 or 4, or wait, I think it's like it crowdsources. So like the crowd then throws out suggestions, and then people are voting amongst those choices, and it's like that was kind of fun too.
Madverse City is also quite good. They're making raps, and they're like giant kaijus that decide to do the raps in AI voice for you. It's very good. I do need to play. I have not played 10 yet. And I need to play. That's I think the only one I don't own. And then they're doing a Jackbox like mature like for adults this year, and I'm very excited for it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll check that out. Right on. Okay. Do we have any specific games that we haven't shouted out on this list? I think I've touched on all of mine.
Let's just double check. I think I know we talked about it at the start, but I think Overcooked is sort of perfect. And even though there's games like Moving Out that have tried to do and Stretchers, was that the Switch one?
Yeah, I think so.
They try, but it's just like not Overcooked 2. And I need that team to make an Overcooked 3, and I hope they're working on it.
Yeah, I hope so too. I have to imagine. Yeah, Overcooked is rad. As someone who worked in the food industry, it's very fun to play Overcooked with like my dad who worked in restaurants for decades and everybody, because like it doesn't automatically translate 1 for 1, but they're frustrated at the results if they don't achieve 5 stars or 3 stars right off the bat. And so it's that the Christmas mornings and playing Overcooked together were always a blast.
I think I want to ask, because I don't think there's anything on this list that I haven't covered in detail here. I guess I'll leave us with a final question, which is on the list here. Is there a party game series that you think deserves a revival? I know we talked a little bit about needing an Overcooked sequel, but are there any others where you're like, yo, I need this? And if you want to think a little bit, I can give you mine to start.
You go first.
We played Nintendo Land together when I was visiting you, and I think that is an underrated Wii U title. As the Wii U Wonder Kid, I have to sit here and say we need a Nintendo Land sequel. And so on the Switch 2, I don't know how you accomplish it, because there was that, you need the gamepad plus the screen to make it work. But I just want zany, fun mini games like that. It doesn't necessarily have to do the 2-screen thing, but having a Nintendo Land 2 is something that I absolutely need.
Yeah, that's a good pull. And we didn't talk about Nintendo Land, but yeah, that was a blast when we played it when you were visiting that day. That was my first time checking it out. But like that game's really solid, and it did use that tech in a really fun way. So appreciated that. I think Rock Band's my obvious answer.
Yeah,
I would like them to figure out like an accessible way, because right now, I don't know if you do this, but I regularly check like eBay listings for Guitar Hero and Rock Band instruments, because I want to have them again. And the aftermarket on those is quite expensive. So I would love for them to solve. I want an accessible way to play all of my old Rock Band games that's not absurdly expensive. So if they could configure that, even if it was like you're playing with a controller maybe and a microphone or something, like a normal controller rather than like a guitar or something, I'd be down. So something like that would be really dope. Otherwise, I generally feel pretty content with my party game offering. I think where I get intrigued is more in the indie space with the games like Framemakers and stuff that are like trying to make quality experiences that are like reminiscent of past things, but ultimately doing something new with it. I will always play more beat 'em up style games like TMNT Shredder's Revenge. So if we got like X-Men 97 is real hot right now. Nice. I'd love an X-Men style game. So I think those are like the obvious ones for me.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty like I just don't this is the adulting thing. And we've talked about the, the adult video gaming problem of you for a long time you have all the time in the world but no money, and then you hit a certain age and then you have enough money to buy whatever game you want but no time to play them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing this will do is inspire me to two of my co-hosts from my other podcast, Left Behind Game Club. They are local, and so I think we should just do a local video game night. Like that's maybe
yeah.
what you've inspired me to do is we each
Hell
pick a
yeah.
game that we want to play as a squad, and then we just need to do it.
That sounds rad. Closing things out, I have one more question for us. I'm curious, do you have an existing game franchise that you feel like would benefit from the party game spin-off? We talked about Monkey Ball. We talked about Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. What's an existing franchise that you're like, you could make a fun, like, mini game based, like, true party game experience with?
Oh man, Astro Boy is a game that I'm very Astro Bot is the new game coming this fall, right?
I was like, Astro Boy's a game, so I was rolling with it. But...
Sorry, duh. Astro Bot. Astro Boy's the manga and anime. Astro Bot is a game I'm incredibly excited for in the fall, and I could just really see Astro Bot leading to a party game. So I think if there's one franchise, especially non-Nintendo, that could benefit from this, I definitely would want an Astro Bot party game. And then also, I would love to see Microsoft. I know PlayStation's done it. I would love to see Microsoft, especially now, despite all of our feelings about Xbox Game Studios at the moment, if they could make a platform fighter with all of their IP, I would love to see it.
I dig it. I think my answer is, hear me out.
Go ahead.
A WarioWare style game made by Double Fine.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Take
absolutely.
all their existing franchises. I think what wacky and cool and fun creative ideas could we get if they weren't limited by we have to make a whole game around this? Like just like really fun little bite-sized multiplayer game experiences I think would be really rad from that team.
I mean, we've sort of seen it a little bit with Amnesia Fortnite and what they're able to do and how they put out those packages, but it's not a cohesive package that
just give me like 10 really solid little micro games that I can play with a friend or two. I think it'd be rad.
Give me Kiln. Give me the game where you're riding a giant, what was it, a dinosaur or something, where you have to build a fort on a dinosaur with them?
Oh, yeah. And that game kind of manifested in a different way because we have, it's not a Double Fine game, but The Wandering Village, I don't know if you've played it, is kind of that in a more, that's more of like a city builder almost than like a concise little party game. But yeah, cool stuff. Nice. All right. Well, the party's coming to an end for now, everybody. Dang. We are setting our status to away until next time. But before then, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things for us. You can give us a follow on Twitter at CrossPlayConvos. You can send this podcast to a friend because that's how people hear about podcasts. And you can give us a review on your podcast platform of choice because it really, really does help. And with that, turn off those...
Hold on.
Whoa.
PAX, my friend. We need to talk about PAX West.
Okay.
We're gonna be there.
Yo, no, I should give you plug away.
Let me plug, baby. So we said we're gonna be at PAX West. So if you see us, like, please stop us. What does the 6-1 Indie crew say? If you see us, stop us or some shit. I don't know. They have some fun expression.
Say hello. Say hey. We listen to the show. It means a lot. Anytime someone says they listen to our content, I am very moved and very appreciative, so love meeting new folks.
And the very fun thing is that for I think the 4th or 5th time, Video Game Trivia is coming to PAX West.
Let's go!
I think this is the first time I've been able to talk about it. It's going to be in the Kalupalik Theater. It's a new theater name. There'll be details on my Twitter at Jacob McCourt on where exactly that is in the buildings, because there's 2 buildings now. Friday, August 30th at 9 p.m. Kalupalik Theater. We've got a fantastic crew of folks. Jill Groth, the Indie Informer, Adam Gumbert from Respawn Aim Fire, Asa Green River, Roger Reichart from Gamerheads, Baron Jones, Level 1 God, and then Stephanie Klimov as well from Boss Rush. It's going to be a fantastic crew. Come through. You will have a laugh and a good time. So again, Friday, August 30th of PAX. Badge required, but if you're there, come on through.
Hell yeah. Do it, everybody. It's going to be fun. Okay. Any other plugs? Anything we're missing?
No. Take us home, baby.
Lovely. All right, everybody. Turn those controllers on because it's party time.